Good morning, everyone. I'm Hubery Yuan, the director of Huobi Research of Blockchain Research. Today it's my honor to share with you our recent research and thoughts. As we all believe, blockchain will greatly change our world, maybe much more than internet have changed. So, to witness the history, from now on, Huobi Research will publish a half-year report every 6 months. And this is our first piece of report. We spent nearly 2 months to write the report. Plenty of data, survey, conclusion, and forecast, more than 60 pages. Maybe I can't tell every details of the report, but I will try to present the overview and the prospects of global blockchain industry. If you are interested in the whole report, I will share with you the PDF version later. Okay, now let's start. Our report includes 4 parts: digital assets, regulation, industry, and technology. First, let's have a look at the digital assets. The main theme for the first half is correction, because last year was so crazy. The total market cap for all digital assets increased by 30 times. And for this year, the price fallen down by 60% from the highest point, roughly the same price as the level last October. The same trend is reflected at the Google search index. We can see Bitcoin was the main eye-catcher and reached the peak in last December. Now, the public attention on digital assets fall down quickly. And by the end of April, search index of Bitcoin was only 12% of the peak. We also survey the Bitcoin market activity. We survey the daily active addresses and also the daily transaction volume. They all trend below 2017 average. However, the market get warm back in April. We do the investor sentiment research every month. We survey over 2,000 investors over 30 countries. And the result is interesting. In March, 51% of the correspondents believe the market will sustainably increase. And in April, the number increased to 71%. So more and more investors believe the market will bullish again. And last year was also a big year for token sales, and we can see the highest point is in this February, and the second highest number is in January, and in March and April, the number fallen down. But however, the capital raised is still large compared to last year. Here we listed the number of projects and also the number of projects listed, and also the number who selling below insurance price. That's terrible. However, now it is common because the liquidity shrinks. Now some new trend emerge, like DICO, which was raised by Vitalik, that will better utilize the investor funds and improve relationships between the investors and developers. Funding will spread over time or milestone, just better than just one time. And if investors or developers are not happy with the progress, then they can vote to deactivate the DICO. Another trend is more and more programs will raise capital in the form of securities, especially in US, follow the Jobs Act, like Regulation A+ or Regulation D. There are some difference between A+ and D. According to Regulation A+, the program can raise up to $50 million in 12 months, and it can be permitted to the public investors, and the share tradable immediately after sale. But according to Regulation D, it is unlimited capital raising amount, and it is not allowed for public, only private disclosure, and there are 12 months restricted sale period. Now, let's looking back at history. We compare the three bull markets. What's the difference and what's the similar point? The first bull market is in 2011. That was the Bitcoin first time coming to public's eyes. And then second time was in 2013. And the third time is 2017. What are the same point is that the second and the third time happened when the Bitcoin mining reward cut half. But there are something different. What's important is the second time was driven by P2P cash consensus, like Bitcoin, Litecoin. And for the third time, the main driven driver was a smart contract, like Ethereum. Let's go deep into the comparison. From all the year of 2017, the Bitcoin dominance fallen down from 87% to only 40%. And the number of digital assets increased from 637 to 1,030 and 335. And the BTC market cap increased by 13 times, while the Ethereum market cap increased by 96 times. And the BTC address number increased by only 1 time, while Ethereum address numbers increased by 18 times. Pay attention to these slides. It's very important. We look ahead. What would be the rationales during the market? We concluded 6 rationales: penetration, application, M&A, user, generation, and gender. Now, let's go into it. First, penetration. Digital assets finance will penetrate the traditional finance, like typically the P2P payment, and also like clearing and other financial back-end office to reduce the cost of operation. Second, penetration. Second, application. Previously was always blockchain plus use case. That's called bottom to top, like CryptoKitty. That was a premature way of playing. And we should seek appropriate use case for technology. Target digital assets community are always highly speculative. So that is not high quality users. Now we should go into use case plus blockchain. That is top to bottom. And we can apply technology to real use case. And the target will be general public, and we can optimize the user experiences. The third rationale is M&A. Just as IPO in traditional financial market, we have token sales in crypto market. So there is M&A in traditional financial market. What will be in crypto market? We believe great numbers of blockchain platforms will supplement its own DAPP ecosystem, would start to acquire quality internet applications. And a new exit strategy will be created by moving internet startups on-chain. Rationale 4, user. As we know, Ethereum unique addresses roughly number is only 34 million, and many people have more than one address. So we estimate the actual user is about only 20 million. That's a very tiny number. We know the global population is 6 billion, and the global internet, this is wrong. Blockchain user, this is right. The global internet user is 4 billion, so there are only 0.3% of global population and 0.5% of internet user base. So that is a very low penetration rate, still have great potential. Rationale 5, generation. According to our research, 55% of the participants in total are under 35 years old. Are there anybody here above 35 years old? Maybe not many, like Mr. Xue. But this number is decreased from 60% in 2015, announced by CoinDesk. So the digital assets are gradually accepted by mass, by the elder people. Rationale 6, gender, from male to female. According to our research, currently about 17% of the Bitcoin community participants are females. The left, 87%, unfortunately, are male. So gender divide exists. However, the proportion of female participants are higher than before. According to CoinDesk, in 2015, only 10% are females. So more and more girls and ladies come into this area. We welcome more and more girls and ladies. Second, regulation. Here we give the whole picture of the global digital asset regulation. The horizon axis is for policy, left friendly, right strict. The vertical axis is for GDP, up higher and down lower. And we give four criteria for the policy. One is whether digital assets are permitted to use as payment tools. One is whether digital assets exchange are permitted to operate, and whether token sales is permitted, and whether investment in digital assets are permitted. And we conclude two trends. The first, US may become a good example and will be followed by other countries. US will classify the supervision by utility token and security token. IRS, which is for tax, takes digital assets as commodities rather than currencies. And different states apply different policies. Most apply license scheme, yet security tokens need to be traded on SEC registered national exchange. However, most digital exchange don't belong to it. And trend 2, we compare the centralized regulation and decentralized regulation. We compare Japan with Korea. In Japan, on last April, the Payment Service Amendment Act took effect, so Bitcoin was recognized as legal tender. And digital assets exchange was authorized by the MFJ and FSA. But in Korea, no relevant laws concern the legal status of digital assets, yet payment was not prohibited. Exchange is only required to register as e-commerce platform, but there is association, South Korean Blockchain Association, which will publish digital assets exchange self-regulation control project to impose more requirement. So that is a self-regulator organization. Third, industry. We divided the whole blockchain industry into 5 parts. Hardware and infrastructure, platforms, middle layer, service, and application. First is hardware and infrastructure, like chip manufacturers, like mining hardware and mining pool. We summarize some trend. One is leading effect in hardware producers will be more and more apparent. monopoly starts to appear among the hardware producers. And the second is the comparison between ASIC mining and the GPU mining. But we believe these two will coexist. And third is opportunities will arise in low energy mining and also the useful calculation mining. Second, platforms which DAPP was on. That was the serious competition of all the segments, and we believe it will always be. But what's the criteria? Maybe performance is important, but this is no longer the only criteria. The developer-friendly will become demanded, and also cross-chain interoperability become an important criteria. And opportunities in platform for specific sectors will appear. Third, middle layer. Pay attention to this. We believe there will be great opportunities like here. That was the sweet spot in blockchain, like storage, exchange, data service, computation, security service, encryption service, developer tools, and scaling solutions. There will be virtuous circle. What does that mean? Means the emergence and the maturity of a middle layer would accelerate the landing of DAPPs, and the development of DAPPs in verticals would in turn induce new demands. Service layer, digital assets exchange, Huobi is also here, and the middle and the media and the communities, market quotes and information service, digital assets wallet. And just like internet, the engines will integrate other applications. So in blockchain world, it will also happen. Like market quotes and information providers can potentially provide one-stop trading service, and the wallet may become the engines for distributed application in long run. And there are also debates about decentralized and centralized exchange, but we believe all these will coexist. Application layer. We can adopt blockchain technology to start to arise in some sectors, like payment and clearing, like security and alternative investment, like healthcare, like supply chain provenance and finance, like copyrights, digital advertising, and games. We summarize some common features of the sectors needed blockchain. One is their inefficient communication and the high cost of trust. And second, there are strong demands for data validation and consensus. Third, there are needs for massive data sharing and high computing power. The last one, technology. That was the hardest part. Conventionally, we need centralized coordination. We need a trustworthy third party, or called center, to issue costs, privacy, and trust. But nowadays, we have decentralized cooperation, open, distributed, and equal network environment. We can enable cooperation on a large scale. And we can divide the history into 3 stages. The first is P2P network, P2P communication and transmission, like BitTorrent. We all have used BitTorrent to download movies, have you? And the second is distributed ledger. We can record transactions in a cryptographic distributed way, like Bitcoin and Litecoin. And now we are on the third stage, distributed economy. We can replace employment relationship with action reward mechanism. So for the first time, the user, the owner, the producer are on the same boat. Like DAPP will realize this mechanism. And there are still bottlenecks in blockchain technology. The main 3 are scalability, privacy, and interoperability. Scalability. The Today, there is still low transaction validation and weak transaction handle capability. And privacy. Blockchain is transparent, traceable, and verifiable, but it is not completely anonymous. And interoperability. Nowadays, the assets are not transferable, and no communications and interactions. So we need to improve. Scalability is the fundamental of high-scaled applications. We can improve the consensus mechanism from POW to POS or DPoS or PBFT, DPFT. And we can also improve transaction validation like sidechain and state channels, or sharding, or subchain and layered structure. Privacy. We should take advantage of good features of public chain while maintaining the privacy. Coin join like Dash, ring signature like Monero, zero knowledge like Zcash, and an invisible internet like Verge. Interoperability. Nowadays, one blockchain is isolated ecosystem. We need communication. That is the key. So we can use notary scheme like Ripple. We can use relay like Cosmos or Polkadot. We can use sidechain like RSK. We can use distributed private key like OneChain and Fusion. We can use hash locking like Lightning Network or Raiden Network. We also notice there are some distributed ledger technology other than blockchain, and they are emerge, like DAG and Hashgraph. DAG has no blocks. Each node confirms the data unit themselves, and different units are correlated through transaction hash, form a data structure in one direction without cycles. And the Hashgraph transmits through gossip of events using gossip about gossip protocol. And there are vertical voting on it. That's interesting. Now, before I end up my speak, I will leave some thoughts to everyone. How much will the platform layer improve for the next few months? Will the number of blockchain users exceed 50 million? Will some of the new public blockchain outbid Ethereum? Will Nasdaq launch its digital asset exchange faster than expectation? All these are open questions. We have no ideas what is a confirmed answer, no confirmed answer. Everything is possible in blockchain world. Do you feel exciting? I feel very exciting. We are experiencing the revolutionary history, and maybe we can create history. Ladies and gentlemen, we are all on the same boat. Thank you very much.